Howdy, y'all. Welcome to another episode of the Contagious Smile Unstoppable podcast with our awesome host, Victoria, who's lovely and beautiful as always, and freaking awesome and amazing.
What'd you do?
Nothing.
What are you trying to get away with it? I don't know about you.
Nothing.
And my amazing
Redneck
husband Michael, who has informed me that I'm getting a little southern twang when I talk, which I've never been told that before. But okay, we'll go with that. So we have a lot to talk about tonight. See, now when I do it on purpose, I can sound southern. He's laughing at me. Okay, so a story all over the internet. We're going to have to talk about it, right? So officer pulls over an individual driving a pickup truck in excess of 100 miles an hour. We've all seen either part of the video or some of the video, some of which you see from the unit, some of which you see from the body cam, all of which shows completely different angles of what transpired. Officer does a pullover for a felony stop. Individual gets out of the vehicle and is kind of non-compliant from the jump. I mean, not resisting in the beginning. I would say he's non-compliant, but he's not with force. He's not being physically non-compliant. He's just being a smart ass. Would you agree with that? Mm-hmm. And then he asks him to put his hands on the back of the back of the truck, and it kind of escalates very, very quickly from there. And sometime the video that was showing only showed up until when the person who got pulled over got shot. It doesn't go into further video. You have to really search to get further into the video. So what do you think? Because a lot of people are giving this officer such crap about how he handled it. But when I look at how he handled it, I mean, he did amazing. And he took it one stage up. Like you're supposed to de-escalate the situation. But when there's physical force in there, you try to go one level up. He never went for his gun right off the bat. He didn't. He gave him verbal orders numerous times. The individual was non-compliant. And then he tased him. And then as soon as the taser, was executed, then the individual got violent with the officer. And if you look, the officer, I don't know how his neck or some part of his back did not get broken. He had him bent backwards behind the truck, and it's all on the camera. And then he grabs his baton or his asp, and then he proceeds to continue before he ends up having no resort left but to pull his weapon, and he shoots him in the side. But even then, once the suspect is down, he kept telling the suspect to stay down, and then he tries to aid him. He tries to help him, and everybody and then some gets on the scene. A lot of people are giving slack to the fact that a brake armored vehicle pulled over and helped the officer give him cover while they were trying to handcuff. And what is your take on the videos that you've seen?
Well, Victoria, I'm glad you asked. This goes out to all the pieces of shit, spineless, no backbone, balls the size of a garden slug that passed that officer out there on the highway.
I would have stopped.
That was in plain view. Everybody's going to look at flashing lights on a cop car, and then they're going to be immediately drawn to the officer and the perp fighting.
The brake van did go and come back and back up,
but there were so many cars and trucks and semis that passed, and where's your backbone? Where are your ball sack at? Does your wife have them? Does your husband have them?
Come on now. I would have pulled over and helped.
You would have. And you would have kicked the perp's ass. You would have assisted the officer. Anybody.
But a lot of women
with morals should have done something.
Because that could have been, the officer could have been someone's husband, brother,
and
dad,
guess what?
Son.
Now, granted, if just one more individual had pulled up, okay, let's say they have morals, they have ethics, they're going to have to help out the police officer, then that individual may not have been shot. Right?
But take it from your point of view of an officer who's done plenty of pullovers, that you have a felony stop first. He was in excess of 100 miles an hour.
I'm going home to my wife, my kids, whatever it takes. if I'm in a fight with somebody and I think they're going for my gun, or I believe they're stronger than me, or I'm giving out, because a 2 to 3 minute fight
It's like
is
running.
exhausting.
Yeah. It's
Okay?
like running for a lot longer than 2 or 3
Remember,
minutes.
that officer is wearing a vest, which is restricting his airflow.
His duty belt,
He's wearing at least 27 pounds around his waist,
at least, yeah.
at least. Okay. So, yeah, my hat's off to the officer. You do what you have to do to go home. Okay. You suffer the consequences later. If you know if he has to be suspended and
I saw him get
then IA comes in and does their investigation. Okay, so be it. He gets a little time off.
From what you saw, do you think the officer did anything wrong?
Absolutely not. No.
So,
and if people give him slack for handcuffing a suspect after they've been shot, even if he's dead or not dead,
he can't
that's
pronounce.
protocol.
He can't pronounce that.
You have to handcuff even after you shoot the suspect.
Well, this was done in Georgia. This transpired in Georgia. But you take us through. You are on duty, and you do a felony stop.
No, the officer did right.
He did call for backup
He did.
many times.
When he was non-compliant, he backed off and called for backup.
And he backed up away from it.
You can always Monday morning quarterback the police officer on this. I have a little bit more fear of a 2,000-pound bullet hitting me, so I wouldn't, necessarily kept walking back and forth in the road. But he probably had his car in some kind of 45, to prevent injury.
You could tell that by the video because it wasn't exactly behind the pickup truck.
Right, but from what I saw,
angled.
and I didn't watch all the video, y'all. My apologies, but I think the officer was 100% in the right. He stated to the individual that why he was pulled over and where to place his hands in the command, and then advised him that he was under arrest before he tried to put the handcuffs on. Now, maybe that's the protocol of the officer's department that he was with.
Okay, he was not just an officer. I believe he was either a sergeant or lieutenant, if I remember right.
Okay.
I think he was either sergeant or lieutenant, but he announced who he was,
right.
County he represented, and then he said, "Stop! Or I'm going to tase you." Like he did give the command, and the guy was just being a smart ass.
That's right. So the way the individual moved after he was tased, he was ready for it.
Oh yeah, okay. He did not even hesitate.
I was tased, and
I've been tased. That should hurt.
It does hurt, but when
it stings.
Over,
yeah, okay. And then when I pull it up,
you get tased again. But the man was mentally prepared.
Oh yeah.
Trying to remove the prongs, the leads.
He came out swinging
from his body, and then the fight was on. Okay, his adrenaline was already up and going. So this man was ready to fight.
And then when they got closer and closer to each other, what would you have done next? Because we know what he did next.
Well, I keep trying to tase him because it looks like he used the vehicle to brace himself instead of falling on the ground.
He did.
Yeah.
With one hand, and he held it really tight fist with the other.
And that's mentally preparing yourself
right
for what's going to happen. Because when you lock up, you lose your muscle control and you just fall down.
Well, the officer couldn't see that the other hand was turning into a fist, but the car cam saw it, the police cam saw it, and that's when you see it from a spectator point of view that it's about to get into a violent mess. But then when he got literally in the officer's space, what would you have done at that point?
You have to go to the next level of force.
Right.
His taser was very low on the chain. And from what I saw, it looked like he went for his ass baton.
He did go for the ass.
And I never saw him swing it because he was in too close.
He didn't. He put it up against the individual to try and push him away from him when the perp was pushing his neck and backwards. And his glasses were flying. The officer's glasses went flying.
So right then, the officer is outmatched. You resist the taser, then you resist the continued verbal commands. You're now fighting with an officer. This officer had to go for, which would have been a level 6 in my department, use of deadly force. Okay, this officer is going to give out. He's tried officer's presence. He's tried verbal commands, his verbal judo, he's tried his non-lethal taser. He went to the next level, a blunt object. He was too close for OC or pepper spray because he would have been affected as well. So the next thing after that is, fighting and your gun, your weapon. So he went for the weapon. In my opinion, he was 100% justified, and he shouldn't be reprimanded or given any flack. I don't care if he's white, y'all. I don't care if the other guy was polka dot or if he was a Martian.
Or vice versa.
I don't care. It doesn't matter. The man was thinking about his life and his family. He was thinking about, I'm going home to my wife and my kids.
Right.
They depend on me. They need me. I'm not letting some dirtbag take my life and take away my child's daddy.
Well, as soon as the perp was on the ground, he kept giving orders, stay on the ground, stay down, stay down. He leaned over, the officer leaned over his squad car, and you can tell that he was just done. I mean, he was spent. He had nothing left. And, he's on the radio. He's asking for backup. Where's help? He's calling an ambulance for this guy. And then he tries to render aid to the guy. It's not like he did a shot center mass. He shot him in the side, which if you watch the video, that's really where he could have only gone at that point because they were so close to each other. I mean, close combat quarters to each other. And then he literally didn't have any wiggle room. And then, you watch, he didn't sit down until there was at least 10 other people working on the guy. And, the other officers are like, you okay? You want to sit down a minute? He's like, no. And then he tells them, I can't find my glasses. He says, I can't see without them. And then they put him in the car after they have all these people working on it. And at that point, nobody cares if it's a African-American officer, Caucasian officer, African-American perp, white perp, whatever the case may be. I mean, not all cops see it that way. Not all of them do. Some do. Absolutely some do. Some don't. And so he got in the patrol car. And if you continue to watch, he got in the patrol car. He's just, everybody's like, does he need help? Do you need help? And he's like, no, help him. And that's what he kept saying, help him. But then he's in the car going, oh my God, my face hurts. My face hurts. I mean, he got beaten in the face. It didn't look like it, but it could have. But I mean, he literally was just like, my face hurts. My face hurts. And then when they started to pick him up, the perp on the gurney, he lost it. He was crying. He was so upset. I think the adrenaline he came out of that tunnel vision and he realized, oh my God, what had just happened? And they said, bro, don't worry about it. We're going to handle the unit. We're going to have someone take you back to the station. And he was just, and then everybody's up in arms about the officer's code of conduct, like how he acted in this. And I don't understand that.
Yes, no. Folks, this is not like a movie where everything's choreographed and, these folks fighting kung fu style and not breathing hard. No, it's all out, balls to the wall. These suspects fight you, these perps fight you. I've fought inside the jail, and normally it's the little guy that wants to fight. It's never the 3-count capital murder suspect in there. But yeah.
And take a minute and watch a 60-second hand go by for 60 seconds.
Oh yeah. See what all transpired.
And watch how long that video of that fight was.
So like I said, my hat's off to the officer. Kudos to him. He goes home at the end of the night.
Right.
Okay. Now I bet later on we'll find out there's more to the story on the individual. Was there more felony warrants for his arrest? Where
it had not said. It had not said. Nothing that I heard said that at that point.
Hopefully they went to his house, done some type of search or investigation.
I haven't heard.
Well, I hope the officer's all right, and he's going to be in counseling, therapy, probably desk duty for a little bit. So yeah, I wouldn't give him flack. Y'all ease up on these folks. You need them. You want them.
When something happens and you are the victim, if you will, God, I hate that word. It's the cops you call. But the minute they do something that people feel that they can just radically assassinate the officer for, metaphorically speaking, they're so quick to jump on it. But when they need help, they call that same officer who comes out. And that officer runs into the threat where most people run out of the threat. So they need to take that into consideration because, that officer elects to put that uniform on. That officer chooses to go out there and try to keep your town, your county, whatever, safe, so that your family is safe. And so, are there bad, crooked cops? Absolutely. But are there those good cops like my husband? Absolutely. But you can't misconstrue, but you can't misconstrue one for the other until you know for certain, because that one cop is prepared to run into that threat to put himself in front of you if need be to protect you. But so many people are so quick to want to just metaphorically throw him under the bus and run it back and forth over him because they think that this officer's done so wrong.
And also, it's a white-black thing.
See, I don't see it that way, but I know you're right. I know you're right.
That's the way.
Well, a lot of people throw it that way now, and that's not fair. I mean, that's not fair. Well, I know amazing officers that are of all, African American, Caucasian, whatever you want to say, ethnicity. And to me and to them, they run blue. They don't run black, white, Hispanic, whatever, and they are amazing officers. But then you have some that just aren't. And that's just how it is. So a year ago, I was looking over our stats, and a year ago, my husband, I gave him the floor and gave him the opportunity to ask some really challenging and difficult questions, because this is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. This is the month where change needs to really start. We need to break the cycle. We need to stop the violence. We need to make a change and make a difference and make people understand nobody deserves it. So I opened the floor up and did something and allowed my husband to ask questions. And so we had amazing responses to that. So I'm going to give you that opportunity again now. And he's looking at me with this look. It's harder for me than it is for you. So my husband is normally not around when I do my interviews on other shows about this. And I've asked him not to read my book because there's such detail in what transpired in so many different ways. The book is 1,000% factual except for geographic location and names. Other than that, I have evidence to prove every single thing in that book. And so I've asked him not to read it because I don't want him to see me as that girl who got drugged through the house and my ex tried to cut out our daughter from my groin. And those are things he knows about. So there's so many in there he doesn't know about. So I'm going to have him ask questions so that we can help bring light to other people. And we can also help maybe provide a nugget that will provide you your safety and making you realize that you are worth fighting for and getting out of that situation.
Yeah. Okay, thanks for dropping that on me.
Absolutely.
I appreciate that. It was a surprise. So I don't have any questions. So as you're talking, I'm trying to think of some questions.
Oh boy.
With Woman of Eagle working up yonder, it's hard for me to think. So we had an individual in our employment this weekend, and he divulged that he was at the point in his relationship with his wife that he wanted to physically harm her, and he used the word strangle her. So
well, he's no longer in our employment.
No. I say employment. I used him for manual labor for that day.
Okay, but I don't want people to sit there and think that but he's not employed in any way by us. Anyway, continue.
Hired on phone tape or anything.
Anyway, so this guy says
they know I'm a redneck. They know I can't speak.
Anyway, go ahead.
So that prompts me the question to ask you. If he's thinking like this, and in our opinion, in the past, we thought that he was the victim, so to speak. Was there ever a time that you, oh Lord, opening the worms?
Come on, I gotta hand it to you.
She's shaking her skeleton hand at me. Oh.
I got one.
Was there any point in time where you plotted to take him out?
Oh, shit.
Mom, I don't know if you can divulge this or what. Does it go against any NDA or anything?
Correct. I thought you were going to ask about him.
No, I want to know about wife. I want to know who I'm sleeping with.
25 years, you don't know who you're sleeping with?
Do you?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Um, I've had amazing people in my life who have asked his whereabouts. My best friend, as you know, Kim, who passed away from cancer, her wish was to go find him and give him a gift from her gun, and I wouldn't tell her where he was, um, because she said he can kill me. I'm dying anyway. She had only a few weeks left to live. I didn't want her daughter to remember her mom that way. Also, I pray for Idiot every night. Most people think that's crazy, but I do because revenge is not mine to give. And yes, I'm not perfect. I am a living person. I would like to hear about it. I absolutely like to hear about it. But God kept me here. And when I'm told I have less than a 2% chance of surviving through the night, and I'm like literally throwing up straight stomach bile, as gross as it is, and I'm unrecognizable, then literally, I mean, I prayed and prayed and prayed, and I beat all those odds. I hate that term. I surpassed the odds, and I'm here. I know it is not for any reason other than my responsibility here. My mission here is to do what we do. And there were times I didn't think I was going to make it through the night. I mean, they rushed me down because my heart rate dropped to 16, and I coded it and she coded. And, that was after an emergency C-section. And I don't believe revenge is mine to give. Did I ever want to inflict pain? I'm human. Did I ever inflict pain? Um, there may have been a time where both of my eyes were almost swollen shut from having my nose broken, which, as you know, is common. And I have a scar in my left eye from where he tried to cut it. And so it's a diagonal scar on my left side. And he was cleaning something on his person from a surgery. And he had asked that I bring him appropriate wipe for that area to remove adhesive. And I may have mistakenly brought alcohol swabs instead, like little square alcohol swabs instead, which rendered him in excruciating pain on a raw sore. But my eyes were swollen shut. Does that answer a question?
No.
Yes, it does.
No. I want to know if you've ever thought about plotting to take him out. As you said, you thought about causing him harm, but revenge is not yours to give.
It is not.
I want to know the dark secrets while you're laying there, miserable, swollen, bleeding on the cold ceramic floor of the bathroom. How did you plan his death?
I didn't.
At no time, ever. I damn sure would have 1,000,000,001 ways.
I didn't want to have my daughter in jail.
Okay.
And at that point, I did not believe I had anyone on my side. I carried a knife with me everywhere I went, and I hid it where I knew he wouldn't know anything for it. I had a loaded gun in between the mattress and the box spring on my side of the bed. But as you know, when you are strung out on a conglomerate amount of meds and drugs, that if you were to shoot somebody, they're going to keep coming at you.
Mm.
And I knew if it got to that point where I did shoot in self-defense, that if I didn't get him out on the ground, then he would have taken that exact same gun and shot and killed the two of us. And I knew that. And if you've ever had a concussion and you normally have black eyes and you have a concussion and you're seeing threes, it's even harder to take that shot. And I used to be a really good shot, is the fact that to be able to do that and you see threes and you're going in and out of consciousness. And my big fear was I go out of consciousness, I have loaded gun. And there he is. He would take it from me. He has put a loaded gun to my head. He has done everything but pull the trigger. And so I was very cautious and careful because I was petrified on the what if. I tried to leave early on, and he shot and killed my dog to show what he would do if I left. And that was in front of a friend at the time who was there, who you aren't fond of. And he saw the whole thing, he witnessed it and didn't do anything. And I just prayed about it continuously. I thought there wasn't a day that went by I didn't think of you. And that's the gospel. And I kept thinking about it, don't make it out of here and never see you again. And when I did want to give up, now I will be honest and tell you there were so many times I wish he had just killed me because it was so unbearable. And I couldn't stand it. I couldn't stand the mirror. I couldn't stand Monday was my favorite day of the week. So I go to work. I hated even being in the same vicinity as this monster. And I couldn't go anywhere at all. I went to the grocery store. If I took too long, he showed up. If he went with me to the store, I had to unload and load the cart. I had to load it in the car. If it was pouring down rain, it didn't matter. He'd sit in the car while I did it. It didn't matter. This is just what he would do. If I was violently sick and I was throwing up, he would be furious because he was taking away from something he wanted. I couldn't have a door in the bathroom because, God forbid, I was hiding something from him. So no more bathroom door. And you know how big I am on the privacy thing for the bathroom door because that's your time. And I have no idea why he thought I would do whatever, but that was no longer an option. So I literally thought I was going to die at his hands. And every single day was like, for me, a day felt like a year because of the fact of his demands. They were so, I could go back and look at the demands and stuff he would say now. I literally want to just jump all over my own self because, and he admitted he would have never done this if I wasn't pregnant because he was scared of me if I wasn't pregnant. But he knew I wasn't going to fight him back while pregnant because you can't fight off somebody who beats you in the face in the middle of the night to wake you up because they're thirsty. And I mean, for him to say in court, if he hit me once, he hit me 200 times. And he stated that in court. In the termination of rights, he stated, that's when the guardian ad litem comes in and investigates both parties to decide what's in the best interest of the child. And under oath, we had to make a statement, his statement, and it's not verbatim, so please allow me a little leeway. He stated in the termination of rights that if he had her, he would cause physical, moral, emotional, and sexual harm. And he testified to that, and then he swore to it. And I have the paperwork with his signature on it.
So I have your book that I haven't read.
Correct.
If I ever catch the SOB, we will read it together.
You think he can read?
No, I'll read it to him. And every time I come across something that he's done to you,
be careful what you say here.
Your daughter's been making us watch the Saw series.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. A lot of good ideas in there.
I watched, what was it? The Gerard Butler. Come on, help me out. Movie, Jamie Foxx, Gerard Butler. Come on. What's the name of the movie? Gerard Butler.
Run it down? No,
Gerard Butler he's a mastermind guy, and his wife and daughter get brutally raped and killed in front of him. And then Google this, please. And then he gets arrested because
that's right.
When the other two go to court, one made a plea bargain for the other.
That was Clive Owen.
No. And then Gerard Butler entraps the other perp and he ties him down, remember? And then there's a mirror. The mirror comes down. And he holds his eyelids open so he can see. There's a picture of his wife and daughter on it. What is the name of that movie? There's a reason for me mentioning this, so give me a second. I'm sorry. Um, oh, what is the name of that movie?
I'm looking.
The reason I mentioned that, and of course my husband was going to make a face of some sort when I say this, is when I saw the movie, I literally was like, oh, absolutely.
Not Last Seen Alive.
No. It's him and Jamie Foxx. I know people out there are like screaming it at me. and I wish I could
Not Machine.
and I wish I could hear you when y'all try to tell me. Um, oh my gosh. Okay, I'm looking it up. See who gets it first.
Law Abiding Citizen.
Thank you. It's Law Abiding Citizen. So in the movie Law Abiding Citizen, Gerard Butler, does that, and then he's like, "I'm gonna let you feel everything." They did, and I actually saw that with my biological dad. I saw this movie in their movie theater, and I honestly, I was like, "Wow," because that's sick. That's so sick, and I'm watching it. I'm like, hmm, and didn't phase me a bit because I'm looking at, what this guy did. And I I wanted to you have one heart. And in that heart you can hold it full of toxicity or you can hold it full of love. And life is too short not to fill it with love. And after having to go through over 100 surgeries and really learning about what put me in that path to this monster, which we talked about the other night, you and I don't want any of that toxicity in my life. That's why I want to help others. You know, After we went to bed and I was laying in bed, I was thinking, oh my God, what a strong statement I made to you when we were laying there. And this is a trigger warning, and I apologize in advance. But I was laying there with you, we were talking, and we were talking about how the average person goes back to their abuser on average of 7 times. I didn't go back to idiot. I went back to my biological parents. And when I think about it, that powerful statement, do you remember what it was? That powerful statement I made to you that the person who was supposed to show me how to live life put a man in my life to kill me.
Yes.
Because my biological dad, who everybody gets annoyed with me because I still check on, want to make sure he's okay. Is he doing all right? What's happening? And I'm getting better. I'm getting better. It's not as frequent, but I don't have that cold blooded heart. If I did, I'd be just like them. Um, when I went through my amputation, they knew and they didn't reach out. When Faith had multiple surgeries, they knew and they didn't reach out. And when we got that horrific news that Faith was in a life or death situation medically, and we were being transferred from one hospital to another, they found out and nothing. Um, I would have dropped everything and I would have been there. And I know that. And you know that. Do I wish that I could be that way? Not always. But my biological dad told me that he put him in my life. And how do you put someone in your child's life that you know is going to do harm to them? I mean, if somebody put anyone in front of any of our 3 kids, they're going to go through me. I don't care.
How much was your life
Over $1 million.
insurance? Being a benefactor.
He thought he was.
That's the only reason I can see. What loving parent would do that to their child? But
Well,
I don't know.
idiot took out life insurance on Faith and tried to put in a claim that she was deceased. And she wasn't, obviously. I mean, you've known my biological forever. What is your take on them?
Piece of shit.
Could you be any more generic?
Oh, I'm sorry. Low down scumbags. So,
Sure. I get asked all the time, who's worse, biological dad or biological mother? Because the biological,
definitely the dad.
because he's not
The mother
consistent.
doesn't
She's consistent.
She doesn't have but one brain cell.
She's
So she
always
does
been
not have
consistent.
function
She's
any other way.
always been against me. She's never wanted me around her life. And I've always been the black sheep. And then my bio dad would wheel me in, and everybody thought I was his golden child, which was absolutely not true. I was his excuse for his extracurricular activities, and all I wanted was acceptance and approval. And I have worked really, really hard to get past that.
So then, since I only asked you one question, really, what would be your advice to these survivors out there now going through this? Plot, no plot, don't go through with it.
Don't go through
crime
with
and
it, because
passion.
the way that our society and government is right now, which is, excuse my French, absolutely the most screwed up, ridiculous crap I've ever heard of when it comes to these laws. The laws need to change, first and foremost. Second of all, more survivors of abuse are incarcerated than the son of a bitch who actually did the abuse. They're getting away with it, and we, the survivors, are paying the price. We are the ones who have to prove our innocence. We're the ones who have to prove that they're the ones who hurt us. And because of that, we end up in jail because no one else is protecting us. And that is not okay. It's absolutely not okay. It's not right. And the law is not on our side. What's the worst they're going to do? I mean, they give them a temporary protective order or restraining order. It's going to piss them off. And then they're going to get out of jail and they're going to come right back. And then what? They get a warning or they get whatever, you slap them on the wrist, whatever. They come home, they beat us again. And they take one of us out of the equation. If we have self-defense marks on us or self-defense marks on them, and we're the ones going to jail, which is not fair, especially when you know that there's this history here. Nobody is there to protect us except us. We don't have anybody fighting in our corner for us. And that's the only way in term that fighting should be applicable here, is that when you use it in that scenario of we're fighting for ourselves, because the term fighting should never be, it's not a relationship. A relationship is two individuals equally in this together. If you have someone who is abusive, controlling, narcissistic, psychopath, then it's not a relationship at that point anymore, because it's someone who is controlling you and taking charge of you. And that is not a relationship, and you deserve better, and you can get better. Believe me, you can get better. And I have so many people come up and say, well, you only hit me once, you only hit me twice. That's all it takes. Is once it's done the first time, it's going to happen again. And then it's going to move to the pets or the kids or both. And people say, no, 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 no. Yes, 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 yes. It will. And that is why laws need to be put into effect that protect us, that protect our kids, because our kids are learning that that behavior is okay for them to implement in their daily life. And it is not.
So, since I can piggyback off this, you teach others how to escape their situation,
How to survive and live.
And how to prepare.
Yes.
Prior to getting away or getting out.
Yes.
So what's some nuggets in that aspect? Since we don't plot.
No. There are many, many things that you can do. I did a show the other day that was really hard for me, because I was asked that question, and the person interviewing me said, oh my God, I would never in a million years think of anything you just give us. But you really have to be living in that hell before you could ever come up with anything of that nature, because you can't just come up with this on your own. I always tell women, if you know that something's going to happen, that because there's a cycle, they're always in the cycle, then get your kids in a totally different place on the opposite side of the house. If you know that he's going to come home in that mood, have your kids in the other side of the house, far away. Do whatever you can not to be in a kitchen or a bathroom. Try to be in a main open room. Don't ever be in a corner, because then you are cornered, literally. I tell everybody, don't be on the top of the stairs. Don't be on the bottom of the stairs. They'll drag you up the stairs. Make sure that the hallways are clear because anything that's on the ground can be used as a weapon. Anything. Doesn't matter what it is, it can still be used as a weapon. I stopped wearing necklaces. I stopped wearing ties with my suits. They were used for strangulation. They were used for ways to literally tie me up. They were used for beating. They that was why I don't do necklaces anymore, or scarves or ties either. You can start doing small changes around. Um, if you do things like go to the dollar store and get plastic things for the bathroom, for your Q-tips, for your cotton balls, things like that. Try to get them to resemble as close to what they look like now as you can. And that way, if they get thrown at you, it's not going to cut you.
No lead crystal ashtrays or anything.
Not like that, no. Another thing is when they're controlling your finances, what I did, and I was the moneymaker, was when I would go to say Walmart or the grocery store or anything of that nature, he would always look at the bank statements. And so he would just say like Walmart, $220.18 or something like that. And what I started doing is going and where it says cash back, I would take 40 or I would take 20 or I would take whatever. And then I started keeping cash in places he wouldn't know. Then when I started, getting a little worried about there being a lot of cash, I would go and get prepaid Visa card, prepaid gas card, prepaid phone card. I bought a prepaid phone, extra car charger. He took the car charger away so that I couldn't charge the phone. So I had that, and these were all hidden in different places. Whenever you go to the grocery store, anywhere there could be cash back, it doesn't show up on the receipt, get it and start putting it away. Put it somewhere he wouldn't suspect. And then you're going to start being able to put that away in order to get out. Start transferring stuff around. Especially like if you have kids, take the knives out of the kitchen and just say, I don't want whomever our kid is to grab one of the knives. Start literally just little things. I had a steel brush and he would beat me in the face with it like it was nothing. So I bought one of those soft baby brushes and I blamed it on the pregnancy that I had a really tender head. Not to mention it was bashed in every other day, that I needed a softer brush. And so the brush still hurt, absolutely, but it's not steel. It's not a heavy steel brush. So there's things like that. I made sure that I started buying smaller bottles of shampoo and conditioner because when they're full, they hurt if they're thrown at you. So I would buy smaller bottles and never was asked, or I would keep the bottle where once it started to get empty, I tried to get rid of it because he would fill it with hot water and pour it on me or whatever the case may be. There's plenty of like little things you could do. I did turn the water heater down even
These little
more.
things, right?
Right, they do, and they make a huge difference. I was never allowed to have cold ice pack in the house because if he beat me, he didn't want me to treat it. So the only thing I had was the bathroom floor. I literally started, if you think he's going to really catch on to what you're doing, you could take some of the money, or like Walmart has them now. I wish they had them back then when I was going through it, but they didn't. I would start taking any of this was such a big one. The lady who interviewed me couldn't even imagine it. I said, take all your cleaning products, throw them away, keep the bottle, and put natural stuff inside. So instead of like Lysol that has ammonia and all that in there, go and get a brand that's all natural. Take it, fill it into the original Lysol bottle that after you've cleaned it all out, rinsed out with water. And if why does it smell lemony or whatever, take a lemon, squeeze a little bit of the lemon juice in there so that it still smells like lemon. And you're not betraying, you're protecting, you're saving. Because I'm here to tell you, after being stabbed over a dozen times and getting a cleaner opened up into your wounds, it really freaking hurts when you have ammonia and alcohol and things of that nature, and they're poured on your scars. Well, not scars, but stabbings at that time, it really freaking hurts. So take that cleaning stuff. I mean, one time he tried to open up a bottle and spray my eyes with it. Luckily, it was just all natural stuff. and it was because I had cleaned it. It was baking soda and water, hydrogen peroxide, and I think I put lemon juice in it. But and I didn't know any of that until he'd done it the first time with the chemicals. And so that's when I started getting rid of them and putting the other stuff in it.
So that leads me to point out my wife's book, her memoirs of this horrible ordeal that she spent with this monster. Y'all go on the website and
Or Amazon
and buy her book. Y'all get to know my wife and her story and her survival, and help somebody else out that is going through the same thing or something similar, or who needs a little light in their life. So look up her book, Who Kicked First, and help support her. Thank y'all.
Thanks, babe.
You're welcome, babe. You know I love you. With all my heart.
We did get
Oh yeah.
we got remarried since our last show.
Yes, we did. Y'all give her a hand.
You're an asshole.
As y'all know, my wife is
An amputee.
a left-handed amputee.
And I'm sure you're gonna say what y'all thought you were gonna get chewed out for, which didn't happen in your favor. But I did a video and I put it out. It's handy, my hand. And my hand and limb recovery specialist, surgeon guy, has this hand in his office, and I love it. And every time I come in, he's like, I'm gonna find out who makes this and find you one. And I'm like, sweet. And so I'm like, why can't you just attach it to my nub? It'd be great. And so I made a video last time because I went in there for my post-op, because I'm not even 2 weeks post-op from my last surgery. And my husband and Faith thought I was going to get the plumbing done on me because my surgeon was going to give me the roto-rooter cleaner because all of my stitches are out before I went in for my appointment.
How many were there?
Oh, I don't know.
Triple.
A lot. Not as many as my amputation. Let's just say that. I'm doing my exercise. Don't look me all weird. Anyway, so when he came in, he looked and I told him, and he's like, I have no idea how you take out stitches one-handed. Like, I just can't understand how you do it. I've tried. I can't do it. And I said, well, no disrespect. I love my surgeon. I think he's phenomenal. I said, but you suck at taking out stitches. You hurt. You have a very heavy hand. The suture kit ends up in the incision, which is very tender, and he pulls them out. And I was like, it's fine when you put them in if someone is, twilighted or asleep, but to remove them, he is quite uncomfortable. And so Faith is back there just like waiting on me to get it. And I said, my daughter's back here waiting on you to yell at me about taking out my stitches. He goes, why? You did a fantastic job. I want you to take out all my patient's stitches. Teach me how to do it. And so, of course, I got the laugh of it. And I ordered my hand, and it came in, and my husband just put his Canada Dry can in it to hold it. And he was laughing. But yes, and we got remarried, did our vow renewal again. We do it every year, so we stayed newlyweds. So that was awesome. And he's looking like I made him lose his train of thought again, which is my fault, I guess. No. So what were you gonna say?
Nothing. Nothing at all.
Yeah, I called bluffing. Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Come on, here we had here it is. You have an opportunity.
No, I'm done. That was it. And I can't tell you how many times I've come up with a plan and then rearrange the plan to accommodate something else. Yeah.
Like what kind of plan?
Oh, that's not for you, man.
But it's not your fight.
Really?
It's my fight.
Really?
Yeah, really.
Are you my wife?
Yes.
Okay, then. I'm a part of you now.
You've always been a part of me, number one. And number two is...
So it's our fight?
No. If he
Really?
walked up somewhere in public, I could guarantee you he would walk right up past you and hit me.
And
right up.
And
then you take face.
No.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, because it's me he'd hit. And it's self-defense.
And what man would allow that? Oh, huh? Let me hear it again.
You need to protect our daughter.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
And not the wife?
I can protect myself.
Really?
Yes.
So I'm no longer needed.
I didn't say that. I need you
You
to
told
get.
me to get the hell out of the picture.
I told you to get our daughter to safety.
Exactly.
That's protecting our child.
She's small. She can go up under the table.
That's not funny.
She's a small child.
You know I know how to fight.
I ain't leaving you, woman.
Are you talking about for the fight or are you talking about in life?
Ever. Anything.
Are you talking about the fight or
Everything.
But it would be my self-defense because I have
Us,
sworn in
self-defense.
court. No, I have sworn in court I would never seek his place of employment or his place of residency. And I haven't. I never have. But if he violated the permanent restraining orders and he approached and did something to me, it is self-defense. I am disabled and I have the right to protect myself. I have the right to stop the threat.
Being your husband, I have the right to protect my family.
But,
and both of us carry. Not that we probably get to it in time. A spoon to the carotid artery.
really?
What? Did I say that out loud?
No.
A spoon.
A spoon.
Uh-huh.
How, as a parent, could you
Nope,
cognitively
couldn't do
know?
it.
No, you don't even know what I was going to. Okay, same page. What was I going to say?
But your old man,
Damn. See? There you go. We have it. That's always on the same page.
I could not tell some Joey Bag of Donut, who I know was a dope smoking dirtbag who beat his last woman, say, hey, why don't you come over here and date my daughter? She needs somebody to put her in line. No, I couldn't. No, there's no way I could do that. So yeah. Next. Is that about right?
I just don't know how somebody could do that.
I don't need it. It's because we got a heart, we have morals, we have ethics, we have conscience, and
How come it's so easy for you not to care? And I always want to make sure they're okay and that they're doing all right.
I have a switch.
I thought you disabled that switch. And I had been told by decades of counseling that if I didn't have that ability to care like I do, I would be just like them. But I'm not like them. And it took me a long time to know that. They think I'm a horrible person. And that's common for an undiagnosed narcissist to be that way.
Undiagnosed.
But never.
Wait, you're the doctor.
Ever. Never, ever, ever. You can say doctor.
You're a doctor.
Never in my life. I don't care if you came to me with $5 million, but I take that money over my family. Never. I could not take that money over my family. I could not take a 10,000 square foot mansion. And
He didn't pay him.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I do know that he helped him retain counsel and sued a couple different things, and he won. I can't in a million years. I don't care materialistically what you try to put in front of me. I would never give it up for our family. Never. I love our home. Our home could fit in their foyer and kitchen, and I wouldn't.
What the hell's a foyer?
You don't know what a foyer is?
I know what a foyer is.
It's foyer.
What's a foyer?
Foyer.
What's a foyer? I know what a foyer is.
I guess the same thing.
What's a foyer? Is that French?
I guess.
Ooh, oui.
Today being messy. But I wouldn't trade it.
Morticia, that's French.
Oh Lord.
Oh Lord.
Oh, by the way.
Oh Lord. Here we go.
So they have anyway, let's finish this. I would never go for no. And no. So you and Faith had daddy-daughter movie night.
Yes, we did. We had an awesome daddy-daughter Saturday night movie.
And Faith wants to watch some nasty crap. Like, I'm so glad I do not partake in this.
I told them we're on the Saw series.
Whatever. So, and nothing scares her. Nothing. I don't get it. But you picked the movie last night, and it was Barbie.
I'm sorry, what was it?
Barbie.
Barbie. That's right. Barbie, y'all.
And Faith was like, oh no, never would I ever. Oh God, no, I would rather, nope, not doing it, never ever, I'm not gonna watch it. She hates pink. She hates the Barbie thing. And you literally made her sit there and watch it.
This kid fought me for days since I produced this idea to her. And then the day of, she fought me so much and threatened not to watch it. And then I had to come up and say, okay, then no more dad-daughter night from this day forward if you don't watch this movie with me. And y'all know what? Before she comes in here, he sat probably 5 feet from the dang TV, watched the whole thing, and sang at least 3 different of the songs. At least 3
no,
of the songs, yes.
Really?
Really.
Did you do what she does
She
in the
only-
movies?
She only asked one question during the movie. I had to stop it.
She's in the kitchen. She's downstairs. I don't know how to get her without
It's okay.
screaming. So,
But yeah, y'all want to drive your kids crazy?
is it an age appropriate movie for
Oh
kids?
yes, oh yes.
It's not.
No, it is.
I can't believe she watched it. I cannot believe that she watched this movie. And what was your okay? Now she's not up here. What was your real reason for picking this movie? Just a torment?
Yes,
Are you serious?
yes,
You only picked this movie to torment?
yes.
Michael,
Why do I want to watch a Barbie movie?
because you have sucky ass movie choices.
No, no. Mm-mm.
Yeah, and your choices are like the cure for insomnia.
I mean, Will Ferrell wasn't even good in this movie.
Will Ferrell's in this movie?
Oh yeah.
I didn't know that. You couldn't. I don't think you could pay me to see this movie.
I loved it. I love that. I'm never gonna let her live this down. So, I think we're about out of time. Thank y'all once again for listening to Contagious Channel.
You didn't mention Kitten Book.
I didn't. Well, when they go on our website, they'll see I Am Kitten, written by Fate. And y'all be sure to get my wife's book. It's a horror story. True story. There's some wishy love stuff at the end, I guess. I don't know. I haven't read it. No? No wishy? Well, you got your love at the end. In the end. No, that was not a sexual innuendo.
A what?
An innuendo.
A what?
I told you I'm redneck.
What is this?
It's an innuendo.
What is this? What is it?
That's a pillar.
A pillar?
Yes.
Like a pillar of strength?
No, it's a pillar to lay your navel.
A pillar.
Bye, y'all. Have a good night. We'll see y'all next time. Thanks for listening.